since we're in a career unit, we thought we'd bring in people who have different businesses, who work different places, to kind of give you guys an overview of what's out there, what all possible careers you can choose from. All right? Please be respectful. Keep all cell phones put away. There are papers that I handed out. Fill in the front side. If you want to wait and do it, you can, or you can fill it out as we're talking today, all right? If you think of any questions, write it off to the side, and then we'll have a question portion after this, all right? Okay, but the most important thing is to keep your cell phones put away and listen. All right, you guys are awesome. You can do this. All right, and this is Mrs. Schutz, and she is our first guest speaker.
All right, I don't have anything real formal, so I just have kind of a list of talking points. I'll talk to you a little bit about how I chose to do what it is I do, and kind of a lot about my job, and you guys feel free to stop me and ask questions along the way. So my name is Schutz. I did not go to school to do what I do, but my husband and I own a winery and a vineyard. So we took that over. We bought that about 2 years ago in 2014. It's located about half an hour from here, so just between Ravenna and Caro, Highway 2. When I was sitting in your seats at your age, my plan was to go to medical school. I was an A student, planned to be a biology major. Went off to Creighton University. When I got to school, I decided that I started self-doubting myself. School was a little harder when I got to college. Even though I kind of breezed through high school, college was a little different story. So I started to doubt, what if I don't get into medical school? What if I can't hack it doing that? So I kind of took my side plan was that I became a medical technologist, which is a laboratory worker. They work in the labs at the hospital, help diagnose problems, draw blood, all that kind of stuff. So it's related, and I always thought I could fall back on that job if I didn't get into medical school. Well, life goes on. Met my husband at the time, decided once I graduated from college, really was tired of school, didn't want to go on to 4 more years of medical school at that point in time, so thought I'd put that on the back burner. We moved to Chicago, got my first job there in a big hospital, did that for a few years, then we moved back to Nebraska, had a family. And medical school just kind of gets pushed off further and further behind. So, have family. I have just a little side note, 6 kids of my own. One is a freshman here. My middle 4 are quadruplets. So my busy life was at home at that point in time. So not only left my med tech career, medical school was pushed way back, and spent about 10, 12 years taking care of kids. So in the meantime, to get together with my friends and to have a good day out and away from kids and family life, I like going to wineries. Went to wineries, had a good social time, enjoyed it, kind of fell in love with it, thought this would just be the life. Put it on my bucket list of things I want to do someday. And fast forward to about 10 years ago, I'm actually sitting in church listening to Mass, and it's a talk about passion and finding what you want to do with your life. And so I was kind of at a bad point in my life and ended up getting divorced, questioning everything. So kind of made sense to me at the time when I'm sitting there in church listening to this and thinking, what is it I really want to do with my life? And I just wanted to find something that made me happy. So I liked working in the medical field. I liked being a med tech, but there was a lot of it I didn't like. For whatever reason, it kind of landed on me that I want to own a winery. I want to run a vineyard. I want to own a winery. And so I just started researching it. I researched it. I visited as many places as I could. I went to California, went to a few places, found books, all that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, life happens. Went on, met a new man, my husband currently. We got married. Turns out he's a farmer, has a great background in farming and owns land and that kind of thing. So we kind of started to put our thoughts into place and figure out how we're going to make this happen. his family farm is out in Elwood, which is south of Lexington. It's about 2.5 hours from here, so we never quite figure out how we're going to run something there, and so we're here because we still had 5 kids at home. So in the meantime, we just kept kind of doing what we do, and a lot of friends kept saying, you know, there's a winery out in Ravenna, go check it out, it's for sale. And kind of kept pushing that off. There's no way I can buy a winery. So in the end, we ended up just checking it out, went and visited with people, fell in love with the place, got them an offer, and they accepted our offer. So 2 weeks later, it's like, Fred, I own a winery, now what do I do? So kind of a roundabout way to get to where I want to be. So I guess my point with all that is, don't feel like you have to make your life decisions now. Life happens. It's going to change your course a million times over. I do not regret anything I did. Everything I did up to this point led to this for some reason. If I didn't have my med tech and my chemistry background, I wouldn't be able to make wine. If I hadn't met my husband with a farming background, we wouldn't be able to run a vineyard. So life happens for a reason, and things happen along the way. But all my schooling up to this point, I mean, every class I took somehow has made an impact in my life, and somehow has led me to whether it's my current job, or I also serve on the school board, whether it's that aspect of my life, whether it's raising kids and just knowing organizations and how to take care of 4 babies at one time, all that kind of stuff. So I guess that's my little plug there. So owning a winery and a vineyard sounds like a dream job, sounds lots of fun. It is 90% of the time, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It covers a lot of aspects. We have the vineyard itself. So we're out in the fields. We're doing hands-on work. It's labor intensive. It's hot. It's sticky. There's bugs. There's thorns. So that part of it, not so fun. The gardens at Cedar Hills Vineyard and Gardens, we, along with the vineyard, we bought what they had. So we're kind of working with that. They have 3 acres of fruit. They have blackberries, raspberries, rhubarb, aronia, elderberries, I mean, a ton of stuff. So we make a number of fruit wines as well, which means I'm out there every day from about June to August picking blackberries by hand. They're thorny, they're scratchy, it's not fun. But when I make that batch of wine and customers come in and they're tasting it and they say it's wonderful, when I enter a competition and I win a silver medal internationally, it's rewarding. It makes it all worthwhile. So we have the gardens, we have the vineyard, we have the tasting room. People are in and out of there all the time and serve our wine. In addition to that, we have what we call the guest house. It's like a bed and breakfast. So we deal with the hospitality industry as well, taking care of that and promoting that. We, because we're a winery, get a lot of requests for weddings and events and things like that. We have a big 400-person wedding this summer that I'm planning for. And then we go out and about. You probably see things like the Carney, maybe you guys don't, you're not even drinking age, but Carney Wine and Jazz Festival, or Mahoney State Park has a big wine event, those kind of things. So we have to travel a lot and take our stuff to those places. So my job is nothing that I went to school to do, but yet everything I went to school pertains to it. So multifaceted that I could have chosen any route and it would still be applicable. I had to learn how to run a business, had no idea how to do that, had to learn how to farm and ecology, biology, all those kind of things. Hospitality business, like I said, we do a lot with the Nebraska Tourism Group. There's a wine and grape growers association, those kind of things. Even mechanical stuff. I had to learn how to run a tractor, and our hydraulics went out on our tractor. So, I don't know how to fix that. Hopefully my husband does, but just little things like that. The chemistry background is huge. I'm not analyzing blood and figuring out what these levels mean. I'm analyzing wine and figuring out what I need to add to get my pH in balance and things like that. So, all very applicable. Marketing, social media, huge for a winery. I am on Facebook a million times a day. I have a Facebook, Pinterest, what's the one? All those platforms. I'm constantly watching that and trying to stay above with our competition. There's 33 wineries, I think, right now in Nebraska. So we always have to kind of be aware of what everybody else is doing. What else can I tell you? So that's basic just of how I chose where I am. I guess to me, in choosing a career, what I found over the course of my life is choose something you are passionate about. Choose something you like. It's not about making the money. It's not about having a 9-to-5 job. It's not about, you know, having the prestige or whatever. Everybody's got a million reasons. For me, it's about happiness. It's about doing something I love. I put in a 12-hour day yesterday. I was out there at 10 o'clock. I didn't get home until 10:30 last night. Flew by. Wouldn't have known it. You know, if you'd asked me to sit in the lab for that long in a hospital, I would have been miserable. You know, I won't be out there today, but tomorrow will be another 12 to 14-hour day. The drawbacks to something like this is it's a 24/7. There's 5 days a year. It's hard to put it on hold. When you own your own business, it's hard to shut that off, to go on about your life, and then come back to it. It's not like a 9-to-5 job where I go into the hospital, I do what I have to do, I go home. I'm constantly thinking about what there is for work. So that's, I guess, one drawback. Some of the good things about it is I own my own business. I can take a day off like today to come do something like this, or if I have something school board related, or if I have something kid related, an event I need to go to. Those things are negotiable. Some things that are not negotiable is when grapes are ready to harvest, they're ready to harvest. You don't have any choice. So everything else on the calendar has to clear off. So just a little bit about my job, just a little bit about how I got there. Do you guys have any questions or want to know more about anything? I didn't cover it. I talk fast.
No, you're good. What would like your typical day look like?
Typical day. There is no such thing as a typical day. A day can change anywhere. Yesterday, my day was spent in working on wine. I was bottling wine, filtering wine, corking wine, labeling wine. Spent 12 hours doing that. Last week, I was out in the vineyard, kind of vines and pruning. So it may be outdoors, it may be indoors. I wake up, I try and sit down once a week and kind of find out what days I'm going to be inside, what days I'm going to be outside, what has to happen this week, and go from there. One of the drawbacks to a job I have is weather. So I may plan to be out in the vineyard all day and it may snow. So that's going to have to shift plans. Good thing is there's always something to do, so I'm never lacking for things to do. But yeah, I wake up in the morning, I get my daughter to school, I head out to my winery and my vineyard, and I start in on my task for the day. Answering emails, setting up events, planning a huge event for the Eclipse. I'm answering emails about those, lining things up, working on wine, working in the vineyard, those kind of things.
How much time do you make a day?
It's hard to say by the day. Wine's a long process. So we typically, grapes are, it's different than corn. You know, when you go to harvest, the farmers, you know, that harvest corn, it's a 1 week shot. They go in, they harvest their whole field, they're done for the year. Grapes are different. They different varieties, there's different kinds of grapes, and they'll get ready at different times. So we start our season about mid-August. Our Edelweiss grapes are the first ones that are ripe and ready to go. So we'll harvest those. We juice them. So we go through a press, squishes them, pours out all the juice, and then we put the juice in a big tank and start the fermentation process. So yeast and sugar and the juice, and constantly monitoring the pH and the acidity and all those kind of values. From start to finish, from that point in August, we do what we call racking. So you'll have this huge tank of wine. As it sits for about a month, all the heavy things, all the particles and little bits of skin and all that kind of stuff kind of settles to the bottom. Then you suck off the clear stuff on top into a new tank. You do that again for another month or so, it kind of settles to the bottom. So that's, you're getting your wine ready and clarifying it. That takes about 3 months. Then you get to your 4th month, we go through a pre-filter process. So our wine runs through 3 sets of filters that separates out any bacteria or little particles, things that are going to make it taste gross, to the point where it's basically a sterile filter before we bottle it. Bottling can take, depending on how big the tank is, anywhere from a full big long day to a couple days. We're a small winery in the scope of things, so we still do a lot by hand. I cork them one bottle at a time. Yesterday I corked, what was it, 160 bottles. So it's a long process. So it's not like I have just one day of winemaking. It starts in August, it ends about December, October, around November, December. And that's just for a regular old sweet wine. There's wines that you age in the barrels, and it adds flavor to them and softens them. They call them cannons, just different things like that. It can sit in a barrel anywhere from a month to 3 years. So just depending on what kind of variety you want. So in that essence, it's we make batches. Our biggest tanks are 20-gallon tanks, so 20 gallons of wine at a time of a certain type of wine. Like I said, we do the fruit wines too. So our wine is a little bit different than a lot of them that deal only with grapes, because once that wine is, like I said, bottled in November, December, January, they're done until August again. We're starting our fruit wines then. So all the fruit, all those blackberries I've picked over the summer, it's sat in a freezer to get, and then we pull them out, thaw them. It makes them soft and smushy, and then we press them. So I'm just starting my fruit wines and trying to get them all going. So my process is year round. So long answer to it.
Do you have employees that work for you?
It's my husband and I for the most part. We have a contract guy that helps us out in the vineyard, does a lot of the outside stuff, mowing and things like that. And then we have a couple gals that when we can't be there or need extra help, that help with the tasting room and that kind of thing. Have kids home, they get put to work. So we're a small operation. So I would love to hire a couple employees. It's hard to find good dependable help that doesn't really, when you're invested in your own business, you're really particular. You really want things run well, you want things done like you do them, and we have a couple people I've found that do that, yes. So, and we're constantly managing profit and loss. So, that's what we do right now.
What's the funniest part about your job?
The funnest part for me is when I have a day and I see people sitting on the deck, enjoying a glass of wine, having a great time with their friends, maybe we have live music, and just doing what made me fall in love with it. So that's the biggest thing. Another great thing that I love is I won my first medal this year. My cherry wine, I entered in an international competition. I got a silver medal for it. So first time I made cherry wine. Got a silver medal, so that's pretty exciting. So, any other questions? It is, yeah. She talked about being out there.
If I kind of piece it together,
Yeah.
the beautiful expression here, winery.
Yeah. Lisa's my daughter. My printer ran out of ink, so I printed off just some pictures that kind of snapshot all the different things we do. I'll just pass it around if you guys want to take a look at it. First up there, that's what we're racking wine, moving it from one tank to another. The grapes, there's a picture of our little guest house, our deck with tasting people. There's the track grab, learn how to run. Constantly having events. We do jump jaunt, we do music events, we do murder mysteries, dinners, have bridal showers, receptions, you name it, that kind of stuff. We sell wine in the stores. Heidi carries a super saver, so the picture there of all the wine bottles is just we physically take the wine to the store, stock the shelves, that kind of thing. added on a big deck. One thing you don't realize when you're buying an existing business, especially a small business like this, is you are everything. You are not only the winemaker and the vineyard manager and the event planner and the marketer, but we're the janitor, we're the maintenance person, we're the lawn care. So all those things, we fill out all the paperwork, we have to sign all the forms for the federal regulations. So we do everything. There's a picture of us pouring wine at a tasting where it's just wall-to-wall people and all you're doing is pouring samples of wine for 24 hours. Our blackberries, we make jellies, jelly syrups, that kind of stuff as well with our fruit. Weddings, big events. So.
Now we do a white or a red wine.
We do both, we have white grapes and red grapes. One thing that's different about, we think of wine, you know, everybody's heard of Napa Valley in California, as a big wine grower. People are like, you can grow grapes in Nebraska. Yes, you can. We have to do what they call their cold hardy grapes. So they're grapes that can tolerate the shorter season and getting cold temps, super cold temps in the wintertime. So our grapes that we grow in Nebraska are different than what they grow in California. You won't find a Cabernet here, you won't find a Merlot here, different things like that. But it's a new industry in Nebraska. It's only been around maybe 20, 25 years. I think it's the oldest running vineyard. Like I said, there's 33 right now. Used to be only, you know, a dozen or so when I first started kind of falling in love with this. So our grapes that we grow here are very similar to what they grow in New York, the upper regions there, Germany, the Rieslings, cold grapes. So there's white ones and red ones. White wine Edelweiss is the most famous. It's kind of a Nebraska grape. It's similar to, it's a sweet white wine, but good stuff. Yep.
You say you have like 3 filters? Like, does it just run back and forth or like?
We do them on 3 different days. So we're running through one filter. It's a 700 micron filter, so it'll take out the bigger stuff, and then we let the wine settle down for a day. Next day, 2 days later, we'll come back with the second filter, and it's 100 micron. So each filter gets a little bit smaller, so the final one's at 0.5 micron. So anything bigger than 0.5 microns is not even a pinpoint won't get through. So, but there are ones we use that is a plate system, holds about 25 individual filters. They're kind of about foot by foot square, almost like cardboard. And we just pump the wine through it. So. Any other questions? One of the questions on here is what job would you choose if I didn't do this? Nothing. I love this. I can't imagine doing anything else ever again. So I just don't know how to miss when the kids get to take over at some point in time. So.
How old are all your kids?
I won that. My kids, my oldest is 24. The quads are 20, and then Luis is 15. My husband has a 27, 24, and 21. So. Yeah.
Do you enjoy being out there?
Yes and no. When we came home and said we were buying a wine, I think they all thought we were crazy. We thought we were crazy. But I guess it goes back to if you're passionate about what you do and you believe in what you want to do, you know, it's the right thing. They avoided it like the plague when we first started. And as time goes on, they enjoy being out there. We own 80 acres of ground total. So we have about 4 acres in grapes, 3 acres in other fruit. We have pasture land that we rent out for cattle, stuff like that. So there's a lot of just outdoor exploring. They'll help serve meals. They'll help bottle wine. Now that they're 19, if you're 19 and older, you can serve. So they've even helped with tastings and stuff before. Any other questions? What are some of the things you guys are interested in? Just out of curiosity. You guys have figured out what you want to be? Sports.
What about mix of everything?
Yeah. They're just starting a winemaking program, a degree out in Wayne State. If that's something that interests you, they do have a viticulture if you're interested in growing grapes, at UNL. So. Yeah.
How many bottle of wine do you guys make in a year?
I knew that because I was going to look it up. We do, let me do some quick math here, probably about between 300 and 400 cases, and each case has a 12 bottles. So anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 bottles a year. And we're a small winery. So that's a lot. Yeah, what's your wife called? Cedar Fells. I thought about bringing samples back around upon that, so. So most of the fruit that we grow, like I said, we have blackberries, we have raspberries, stuff like that. We do choke cherry jelly, sand cherry jelly. So a lot of the native grown plants. I get other questions.
All right, anybody else have any questions? How many of you are thinking about owning your own business?
Okay, so maybe you can tell them, what are the main skills that they would need to have to own their own business?
To own your own business, you have to really love whatever your business is. You have to really believe in it, you have to really love it. That's first and foremost. You have to be willing to put in, not just 100%, but 150%, because you're gonna work. I work 10 times harder doing my own business than I did working for somebody else. You have to have, a variety of skills. You have to be able to troubleshoot anything and everything, and if you can't do it, know where you can turn to find that person. So it's marketing, it's good management, good organization, a good grasp of what you need to hire for, what you're able to accomplish yourself, and what you need to be able to delegate and have other employees do. So.
Hard work.
Very hard work. It is, but like I said, I'll work a 12-hour day and come home sweet and exhausted and get up and do it again without question. It doesn't feel like work when you're doing what you love. So, sounds hokey all the time. It's true. So, I've worked in hospitals, I've worked in small clinics, I've worked, I've done a couple of odd things here and there when I have kids at home. Never have I been happier than doing something that's just passionate about. So.
And guys, that's why we're trying to figure out what your interests are, because sometimes it's easier to figure out what you're interested in and then pick a career based on that than to pick a career that makes a lot of money.
That's true. And even you go off to school, you think you're going to be a doctor, you think you're going to be a teacher, you think you're going to be an accountant, whatever. 30 years I look back and like I said, I don't regret what I went into. At the time, it was the right choice. It's what I loved then. It's what I was passionate about then. And it helped prepare me to be here, to totally shift gears and totally change what I do. So I think that's the thing kids your age get all, I mean, even Lisa Flowers, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. And it's like, you don't feel like you have to. Just do what interests you now. Do what you're passionate about now. And in the long run, if that's not what you go to school to do, or if that's what your career turns out something different, don't feel it's a waste. Those processes would still help get you where you're going to go. So.
How long did it take you
To get back on my feet when starting the winery, or like after being out of work for a while and stuff. It was kind of a learning curve, and we kind of hit a point in time where, I'd gone back to work in the lab, and I was working full time in the lab. My mom ended up having some health issues, so I tapered back to part time and kind of that, and part of why I was so unhappy and just, all that kind of stuff. The day we bought the winery and signed on the deal, we went out there and it's like, okay, now what do we do? And it took a good full year seeing the cycle all the way through to kind of figure out what all we had to do and what all our job was going to entail and be. A lot of it we didn't know in the beginning. And so it was probably a full year before we had a good grasp of it. We'll be finishing up our third year. July is when we took over. So this is our third year. And I feel like I know what I'm doing now, and I have a vision for where we want to go. So, it's a good 2-3 years. So,
Have you had mentors?
have I had what?
Mentors as
Yeah. The other wineries in Rust are great. Jim Ballard, actually Jim Ballard owns James Arthur. I don't know if you've heard of James Arthur. He's a Gish grad. He's probably the most famous, well-known winery. We work a lot with the guy up in St. Paul, Vista, Nick McDowell, and Nick Ryan over in Central City. So when we bought it, the people that we bought it from were retiring. They had started it and kind of grew beyond what they had hoped for their retirement. So they were wanting to get out of it and it tapered back. So we spent a lot of our first year just doing things back up, having more hours, having more events, that kind of stuff. And they worked alongside us for those first 6 months or so. Every time we started a new batch of wine, like, they come up and help me and make sure I'm doing this right and stuff like that. So I never made wine before. So it's a steep learning curve. But it's different when you're planning, like a couple of you said you want to own your own business. If you start off planning that and you're the one starting it from the get-go, that's a little bit different process than we bought an up and existing business. So it's like one day we are doing this in our life, the next day something totally different that entails everything. So that was an adjustment. I think had we gone the route where we planted grapes and it takes 4 to 5 years before you can harvest your first grape. So if we've done that process and kind of built up into it, we would have got there eventually. A longer route, this was quicker. Some of the obstacles when you're taking over an existing business is they do things their way. You have your own kind of take on things. So it took us a little while to kind of tweak it to be our own. The previous owner was known for her pies. Are you gonna make pies like Joyce made? No, I didn't buy a bakery. I bought a winery. My focus is on that. I try to make pies. I'm not a pie maker, so that part is just something. Eventually, I haven't heard that for a long time. It took about a year until I quit. So people quit asking me, are you gonna make pies? It's like, no, but I've got great wine. So, so just those things along the way.
You guys have anything else? Anything about business? All right. You guys want to do 3 on 3? Clap 3 times on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you ever want to learn more, love to have people out if you're interested in run your own business or born in some aspect of it, so.
All right, if you haven't started on your paper,